Callahan, a.k.a. JC. I'm sorry, no one has to list here. John Kiernan, Devin Hager, Danielle Duane, saved you for last. Doing a little zigzag. And Bob Cooney. Crap, do I need to do that again? That was hard.
Those are the practice runs.
All right, I'll do it again. We have John Kiernan, John Callahan, Danielle Duane, Devin Hager, Bob Cooney present. We had an executive session prior to this meeting to discuss potential open space acquisition, legal matters, and personnel. And I'll go right into presentations. Tonight we have the Historical Commission here to talk about the America A250, is that what we call it? Bobby Riley and members of the Historical Commission are here. Appreciate it. They're going to give the board a presentation for the America's 250th anniversary. If you guys would like to jump up, the floor is yours.
So good evening. I'm Bobby Riley, Schuylkill Township resident. In October, the Historical Commission appointed me to be chair of American 250 Committee to try to encourage Schuylkill Township to do something to celebrate. It's 2026. This is the year our country will celebrate the 250th anniversary of the signing of the Declaration of Independence. So Peter is handing out a abbreviated form of what we're going to talk about here in a minute. Last year there were other documents that were circulated over different times. They went through a couple of revisions. So what I'm handing out tonight is no different information, just streamlined and a little more readable for what we're going to do. So. Communities everywhere have planned or are planning events to mark this historic milestone that shaped our nation. Pennsylvania's celebration tagline is "Start Here, America Did." Chester County's tagline is "Crossroads of Freedom." Dare to Declare is a collaborative national and county initiative to provide opportunities for Americans to reflect on our past and to hear the 1,320 words of the Declaration of Independence, which voice the universal rights to life, liberty, and happiness. On behalf of the Historical Commission, I request that the Schuylkill Township Board of Supervisors approve the township hosting a Dare to Declare community event on Saturday, May 30th, 2026. The event would tentatively be from 10 a.m. to 2:30 p.m. and held on the township building grounds. The document that you have now gives us a draft outline of that. So on the first page, we talk about a little bit about what would happen that day. So this is a Dare to Declare event. If anybody is not familiar, again, that is a national initiative picked up by Chester County to encourage a community reading of the Declaration of Independence. And that would be the highlight of what we would do with that event. We would center that around a 4x8 poster, very much like what the National Constitution Center did this past fall, that has the Declaration of Independence printed on that poster. I've gotten their artwork from them. I have their printer from them. And people who come go up and sign that document. So they have that to do. And then we do a public reading, probably around noon, because that's when, in 1776, the first public reading of the Declaration of Independence was at noon. So we could do it around then. Again, a lot of timelines are a little to be determined here. Also, we would have available free small American flags to hand out. We would have copies of the Declaration of Independence. I already have a commitment from Representative Schusterman's office to provide those. Her office would be available to be part of that event as our legislator from here. So we would do that. So that's the focus of what, the importance of what we want to do. But when we get our community members here, we also want to give them some background of how wonderful Schuylkill Township is. So we plan to give a little more information about our historic sites that we have here. We plan to talk a little bit about what life was like back in 1776. Who were the people that were here back in 1776? Unfortunately, Schuylkill Township did not exist in 1776. This was Charlestown Township at the time. But we have a lot of big-name families that were around at the time, and so we want to highlight what was going on with that. We have wonderful historic sites that were there, and I heard mentioned before that one of our most significant Schuylkill Township historical resources is Moore Hall. And we have with us tonight the owner of Moore Hall. And I'm very glad that he came because it's going to give credence to the fact that they are willing to allow Moore Hall to be toured that day. So we're going to work out a little details about how that happens, but I think it's a great tie-in to our community to understand we have a very rich and wonderful history to have here. For the family members, we're going to do some colonial activities, partnering off of what America 250 PA has to offer. We can get in coloring tablecloths for the kids. We want to do things with games that they've done. We're going to create marbles. We're going to create Jacob's ladders. We're going to do things that are tied into the family so that we have good interest. Tomorrow I am meeting with another representative from the Historical Society, and we're going to the Phoenixville Area School District to try to encourage them to do a Spirit Day that would be before this event to get the word out to our school families that this is happening and you should come because this is a family-centered event. So the backside of that throws in a little bit of the, my best guess at this moment of what this might cost. Obviously, we will have some materials that would need to be purchased. We would have printing costs. I'm desperately trying to get somebody to design. I haven't, the county commission hasn't responded yet, but you familiar with those, they call them feather flags that you see everywhere. It's an arch and, and I want one that says Dare to Declare. I want that right out on Valley Park Road here that shows that this is where we're doing a Dare to Declare event. So obviously there's some cost on that. So we have talked about this a little bit. It's 2026. It's time to decide if we're going to do this wonderful event for our community or not. So I will take any questions at the moment now on anything that I have presented or anything I have left out that you would like to ask.
Any thoughts, guys? I personally, I think it sounds really exciting. I've done a few events in the township in the past over at the Freedom Foundation with the music festivals, that sort of thing, and I know it's a lot of work. Do you have a good team that's chipping in and a structure of how that would unfold?
Yes, so again, I was appointed to head up a task force committee, whatever you want, by that. I have 2 people already that have agreed to be on that with me. The moment I've hesitated because, it's hard to plan something when you don't have an approval. So this is the time to decide that we're going to do that so we can now put things in, that we can get a group of people to put that all together, that we can start acquiring or, knowing that what we need so that we can put that in through the Historical Commission to be approved for expenditures. So I've got a plan. I mean, we're not talking about the biggest event in the county that's going to happen. And it's not like Tredyffrin who's gathering a British army and they're going to march into Malvern. We're going to have a public reading of the Declaration of Independence and a good time for people to come here and learn a little bit something new about Schuylkill Township. That's another thing I put on there that we've talked a little bit about this. We need to put a little bit more information onto our township website to help support this. We have great historical sites. Right now, there are only 3 on our recollection. If you go to About, Recollections, there are just 3 listed. I would like to put the rest of them on there. So a little bit of website work to try to promote that, and something on the website that says yay, we're doing this, so that people know that there's new information and go to look for it. And then obviously advertise that through our township newsletter. And again, we're going, hopefully the school will buy in to at least send a flyer home, put it on their website, encourage them to do that. So we've got a structure of some people to do that. Hopefully they will take the lion's share of the responsibility of making that happen. But obviously we need to interface with the township personnel to, it's my first township event, you know, but I'm going to do some things wrong, so I need somebody to keep me on the right track. Because, you know, obviously we'll need to take care of, you know, Health and Human Services. You know, hopefully the wonderful people sitting behind us over here will be able to support that event to make sure it's a safe event, and we're following all the guidelines. So I hope we have an action plan that will get this done.
Do you guys have any of those old fire trucks from the, what did they call that, the Village of Valley Forge days? I know you got some pictures of them.
Cannons now, so they're
All right, cannons cover it.
The moment I
Are
saw
they
the
mobile?
cannons there, my brain said, how can I get a cannon to the township building? Until they told me today they are 100% metal. So they weigh a little bit, but
For bathroom facilities, I don't see a line item for porta potties. I don't think. Are you anticipating that people will be using the township building, coming in and using?
no, I mean, that's one of the details that we'd have to work out. If there's a no to the township building, I don't know what you do when you do like the cops and cones or things like that, whether they, you know, if that's enough of a time frame, if 4 hours needs, you know, a bathroom support, then we will get porta potties.
What did we do? Didn't we bring porta potties in for the movie night? Or what did we bring the porta potties in for?
Yeah, it was movie night. Although they didn't.
Although they
Show
didn't
up.
show up because the guy drove away.
The challenge with our restroom facilities for public events is that we only have one, and it's up here. So if you're out there, which is where I presume you're proposing to do this, in the field out back,
Yes.
it's not really conducive.
Okay.
That also requires that township staff would be here to have the building open, so that would be something we'd have to talk about, but.
Okay. 2 porta potties. 2 enough?
So yeah, I think it was Republic that we used for the Freedom Fests. There's probably multiple people to choose from around the area.
Oh, yeah. I would say porta potties are probably generally a good idea for
Yeah.
something like that.
Yeah.
Makes it easier.
So you would be the point person to run the,
I am the point
Program.
person.
okay. And now the event we ran was probably, I don't know how many people you're expecting to get out, but I know, I think we had like an 8-person team to take each different segment with one person organizing that. You're okay to form that team and break everything up into segments and get a good crew together, to trust them to put everything together and tear it down?
I am.
Okay.
I am prepared to do that.
I would just thank you for your initiative and leadership, and sounds very exciting. So thank you.
And
Thank
I
you.
appreciate Moore Hall being open. I was in there years ago with one of the previous owners, and there's a great book, and I'm sure you've probably seen it, The Annals of Phoenixville, that talk about the history and what went on there, and with Charlestown back in the old days of William Penn and all the way up to the 1800s. So
Moore Hall has an extremely wonderful and rich history, and we're quite thrilled that the Shires are willing to open up their house to support this event. So I think that's all good. So again, I hope we can put this on the agenda tonight. I feel like we need a decision tonight.
One additional question, and this, I should know this, but the Historical Commission doesn't have its own Facebook site, right? Do any of our committees have their own?
The EAC does.
EAC does?
Mhm.
Okay. I'm just wondering, because you mentioned communications, and so we have a limited staff. And so to the extent that some communications could be managed through, maybe a commission Facebook site might be helpful.
Something we can do too is put a dedicated banner on the website, even just something that's celebrating America 250, and then you can click on it, it takes us to a dedicated page that talks about the event
Yeah.
and like the schedule. And that's something that can be up there for months. Like it doesn't have to it doesn't have to be a notification that goes out.
It doesn't, but people don't come to our website.
Yeah, no, you're not wrong.
I
I'm just
know.
saying that's just another opportunity we can have on top of the usual communication avenues.
So we could, sorry to interrupt, but to that point, I would have to agree that it's probably not the first site people are going to go and Google unless you're moving into the area and looking for strategic information. But to that point, if we do try to do some advertisement through the school district, we could create a QR code that does link, hopefully, to the website or specifically to a semi-quincentennial drop-down on that does feature this information. And I believe that there's a good following to the newsletter that goes out. I read it, so, I don't know what you feel like the reception is on a broad scale to that, but certainly our timing would be to get something strategic into that. We can take advantage of the patch, and then just hope that some other social media links that we can to get the word out, and word of mouth is going to be very important too. So reflected in the minutes that we have of the township, and we'll do our best to get the word out. To the point of how many people do I expect, impossible to say. If it's nothing but there's people in the room and every friend that I have, we're going to do a public reading of the Declaration of Independence, because I think we owe it to being Americans to do our part and celebrate America 250 in 2026.
So a quick question for you. You may have covered this. I see it's May 30th. Any reason why it's not closer to the 4th of July?
Yes. So May 30th was a very unique and specifically picked day because May 30th is the official date in 1738 that the first survey of Charlestown Township was recorded. So the township became an entity on May 30th in 1738. So it was kind of and it happens to be a Saturday this year. So it was like perfect. So we specifically wanted to stay away from the July 4th weekend and time frame because there are a lot of really big events going on. And I don't think we wanted to challenge people to choose between maybe going to Independence Hall or the parade in Philadelphia or some really neat battle reenactments that are going to be going on to come just to hear our Declaration of Independence reading. So we're before the school district lets out, so we haven't lost people to summer vacation. Again, it's a Saturday. It has a historic tie to our geographic area, and that's how we picked it.
I did want to ask you also the reenactments. Do you have any connection with any of those folks that they'd have a presence or no?
We can. A lot of those reenactors go through the Sons of American Revolution. That's probably the biggest group of reenactors. But again, I have hesitated to reach out to anybody without permission. So, there's grants to be had through the Chester County Community Foundation. It's all hinging on whether or not the people in this room decide they want to do it. And once you decide...
I'm sorry.
Sorry to break.
No, go ahead.
Dorothy Bedford of the Historical Commission. The county will be focusing on the Philadelphia campaign of 1777, which is a full year later. So if we can pull this off, we still have 15 months
All right.
to figure out what we want to do about American Continentals and British running up and down Nut Road, which is where the British encampment was after the disaster on the Brandywine, and the British crossed here at Schuylkill Township and then went down through Montgomery Township to get to Philadelphia for the Battle of Yorktown.
Okay. I gotta get you a microphone next time so we can capture that. My apologies. Didn't think of it till you after you got started. Okay, so I see a phase 1, phase 2. Any other questions from the board?
I just want to make a comment that you've put a lot of work into this, and you have a lot of enthusiasm, which is nice. And you exude confidence, so thank you. I'm excited about it.
Passion goes a long way. And, when you feel strongly about something, as I do, about celebrating the birth of our nation, I want to do that in my local community. I started out saying I am a Schuylkill Township resident, so let's celebrate in our hometown.
So I want to throw out there too, we have not used the restored trolley station over at Valley Park. That may be something to throw out there if people are doing a historic loop. We might want to kick that around to open the doors and actually let some folks see what the we have preserved, which is a micro version of what you have, but it's also from the early, well, actually, that was the early 1900s, so that wouldn't be as, so, but just a thought. Anyway, I love the idea. Again, I love your passion. I think it's a great idea. I see a hand coming up. Will you come up to the mic? And
Thank you all.
thank you.
Quick question. I'm Peter Levin from the Historic Commission. We approved for a budget for this, and I was wondering, would there be flexibility from Supervisors' budget or Township budget? Because obviously questions have come up about bathrooms and things like that, and where would that funding, is there a possibility that could come from other sources besides just the Historic Commission's funding?
I think we have some discussion as far as the historic, where did I see that on here?
We do, but we can.
Yeah, new business, we had discussed
the motion
possibly,
is, yeah.
moving money from the Historical Commission over, but you're saying, are there other funds we can tie into outside of the Historical Commission's budget? That's something we'd have to talk about. I don't know what we have in the budget as far as,
So the Historical Commission, and that is one of the things we were going to talk about, the Historical Commission, when they submitted their budget request for 2026, they did ask for a total of $6,000, which was approved, for America 250. 5,000 of that was to be for park signs that was being worked on at that time, and $1,000 for banners. I think that was going to be temporary signage.
Yes.
So that,
But the park signs doesn't look like that's going to happen now, so could that be utilized for this?
so what I would say, the request to reallocate the money, we can discuss it tonight, but really because the Historic Commission voted to submit the budget that it did to the board that was approved as part of the 2026 budget, really the Historic Commission should vote to change their requested budget for 2026, even though it fits within, they're not asking, well, that's the first I heard that they're asking for money above and beyond what's in their budget. The reallocation of the use, that should come as a recommendation from the Historic Commission to properly do it. That doesn't mean that you would have to, time is of the essence with this event, doesn't mean that you couldn't agree tonight. If the board is supportive of the idea, you could allow some of the planning to move forward. All of the expenditures are going to have to go through me anyway. But really, the right way to do it would be to have the Historic Commission vote to approve what they're now asking to change their budget to.
so I guess there's two different things here. One is you've requested that we set aside money for a budget for one category. We could discuss, and there's a possibility to reallocate that for this cause. Would that fit the bill and cover your needs?
I guess my question is, we don't know what the bill is going to be.
Peter, you'll have to come to the
You
mic.
got to jump back up, sorry.
We can't hear it on the recording unless you're up there.
This is a work in progress, and as we've already brought up, there are going to be other unforeseen costs. So I was asking, is there going to be flexibility in the amount of money that could be available if necessary?
What's the entirety of the allocation that we've made to the Historical Commission this year?
Entire budget, not just for the event.
Not just for the event, their entire budget.
On top of the 6,000 for the special event, there's a 12,500 allocation for historic preservation, which included work to the mural. That also includes the mid-century modern ordinance project, but some of that hinges upon a grant being obtained to make up some of that. And then there's $500 for computer software.
Yeah, the mid, what's the phrase for that again? The
Mid-century modern ordinance.
The mid-century modern ordinance, is that something that if it didn't go through this year, could go into next year and they could request to reallocate some of that money?
Well, I would say that project is largely underway. But that would be a discussion that the Historic Commission really should have.
Because you're members of the Historical Commission, but you are not the Historical Commission, so you need to vote as a body and make a recommendation.
Their meeting is on Monday.
Has to be at
so-
your
Yeah,
meeting.
it has to be an
Now-
advertised
Your
meeting, yeah.
Lori, we are potentially making our workshop meeting a business meeting this month, right?
I would say that personally, budget-wise, I don't think it would be necessary at this point to commit to giving, they've asked for $4,000 for this that they've submitted and presented on. That fits within the 6,000 that they asked for special events. Yes, they're changing that ask from a sign to an event, which they should formally vote to change that request. Now, they have discussed this at their meetings, and they have created this committee. They know, the Historic Commission is fully aware that they're doing this planning. I just think the cleanest way to do it would be for them to make a formal vote to change, because that was what they voted on as a group to ask for in the budget, but the dollars aren't changing. I would say there would be no reason to hold up allowing them, if the board is supportive of the concept, allowing that to get started, knowing that none of the money can be spent without it going through me anyway.
I mean, our business meeting's next week. I mean, our workshop's just
Yeah.
next week.
And historic is on Monday.
So we could either vote to approve it conditional, with the condition that they vote on it on
Right.
Monday, or we could put it on the agenda for next Thursday with, and they will have voted on it on Monday.
Correct.
6, 1, half dozen the other way, right?
Okay.
I like that idea. I mean, I like the idea of giving you the flexibility, and if you're moving away from the fixed signs, which were the expensive item, correct? And having those funds available for the event and anything else, I think that's great.
But I think any further allocation of money from your historical commission budget is going to require you to confer as a group. You know, if you've decided you're not going to go forward with the mid-century modern ordinance this year, that's your prerogative. I don't know that we're going to, have any concerns with that, but that's your group that you have to discuss that with.
Anybody want to
So
make a
is that
motion?
helpful? Does that help you keep moving, keep momentum going, knowing that there's the flexibility?
Whomever.
Yes, I think that that will achieve the goal. The other reason why there was some urgency to this is we did feel it would be very useful to have all of this kind of set before the spring newsletter gets put out. Because in answer to someone's question, we see that as a good source of
Yeah.
getting the message out.
Absolutely.
And maybe we could have a save the date right across the front of that.
Do you want me
Excellent.
to think of a motion?
Yeah, you want to put a motion together?
It's under new
Well,
business.
so we're going to save the
So do we
motions
wanna
for the
come back and-
business. Or do we want to just move it up in the agenda? We'd have to make a motion to move it up in the agenda.
I'll make a motion to move this up in the agenda so you guys can get on your way, unless you want to stay and enjoy the rest of the party. Do I hear a
I'll
second?
second.
All in favor? Aye. Okay. And the motion is pretty much carved out here.
So,
Go ahead, Danielle.
okay. I move that we approve the Historic Commission's plans for America 250 events in
Yeah.
an amount not to exceed 6,000, subject to the approval of the Historic Commission of the reallocation of funds from the projects submitted to the township for its 2026 budget to those items presented at our meeting tonight. Does that work?
Nailed it.
I'll second it. Any discussion, any comments? All in favor?
Aye.
All right, great job. We're excited to see it unfold, and love to catch up to you, see if there's anything I can do personally to help with it. I've got some other friends I think that would be involved, love to be involved. So thank you.
And if you need a connection with the Phoenixville Area School District, I know someone on the vice president of the HSA, ex-wife ironically, but, so we can connect on that if you need be. If you, with the Phoenixville Area School District, the HSA, who does a lot of the, like getting the word out for the Spirit Day, I can help with that. If you need someone with the HSA that can help with the school district, so.
Excellent.
I need to set up a meeting with them as well.
Thank you all again. We're excited for it. Okay, with that, let's go. Moving along, consent agenda. I'll make a motion to accept the minutes of the Board of Supervisors, January 5th, 2026 reorg meeting and December 8th, 2025 regular business meeting.
January
20 I'm sorry, January 5th, 2026, and December 8th, 2025 regular business meeting. Do I hear a second?
Second.
All right, discussion, all in favor?
Oh,
Aye.
I missed it. Okay.
Devin.
Everybody good?
seconded it.
Nice. Yeah.
We're giving that one to Devin.
We all
I'll just,
Quick to the
I
trigger.
can run with the seconds. I'm sitting next to him. It's easier.
All right. All right, treasurer's report and payment of bills. Lori.
Do you want to make the motion first?
Oh, yeah, I'm sorry. I'll make a motion for consideration of acceptance of treasurer's report for period ending December 31, 25.
Second.
All right, now discussion. Lori, if you want to chime in.
Yeah, so for a period ending December 31st, 2025, we had a general fund balance of just over 4.8 million. And that reflects the amount that remained in the general fund, after this month's expenditures as well. At the end of 2025, the board authorized transfers from the general fund into the Valley Forge Capital Fund, into the newly created West End Ambulance Fund, and a general fund surplus transfer into the highway account. So that is the amount after those transfers at the end of the year. And for this month, these are going to be silly numbers because it is January 12th, but we, year to date, are at 0.6% of our budgeted revenues and 1.7% of our budgeted expenditures.
All right. All right, any comments, questions from the board, from the public? All right, we have a motion, a second. All in favor? Aye?
Aye.
Okay, I'll make a motion for ratification of disbursements dated December 23, 2025.
Second.
So these were bills that we wanted to get paid before the end of the year because we only do one check run a month when the year end comes. We tend to do an extra check run in December to get some of our 2025 expenditures out before the year changes. So that's what those expenditures were, just disbursements that didn't make it to December 8th.
All right, any comments, discussion from the board, from the public? All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, I'll make a motion for the approval of disbursements dated January 12th, 2026. Do I hear a second?
Second.
All right.
Okay, these are current month expenditures, and all of the bills have been reviewed and are recommended for payment.
All right. All in favor?
Aye.
All right, subdivision and land development. Make sure I got the right item there. Do we need to discuss before a motion on this? No, I'll make a motion.
No motion yet.
No motion yet. Go ahead.
So this is an application that the township has received for zoning hearing board from the owner of 120 Anderson Farm. They're proposing to install an in-ground pool, multi-level patio, and another accessory pool structure. They need relief from the setbacks. So they would be, it says 50-yard setback, but I think it's,
Yeah, it's one of those aggregate setbacks, and they are, excuse me, 120 Anderson Farm has like a pie-shaped lot. So as you go further towards the rear of the property, it pinches a little bit more. And so they're asking for zoning relief for basically the pool to be installed in their backyard. Their house literally hugs both property lines, so any installation of a pool in the backyard is going to get pinched as the property, as the side setbacks go towards the rear.
I'm going to pull that house up real quick and take a look, 120 Anderson Farm. Any thoughts or comments? Maps.
so just for the benefit of our two newest members, when zoning hearing board applications come before the Board of Supervisors, it's simply to make a decision as to whether you're going to remain neutral on the application or if you'd like to vote to send the township solicitor to represent the township. at the hearing. Otherwise, I mean, the zoning hearing board is its own independent quasi-judicial body. They make the decision. The board can't influence that decision, but you could send counsel to represent the township's interests.
Thank you.
So this backs up almost to the old Anderson farm, right?
Yes.
Do we have any complaints from neighbors or any concerns with stormwater runoff or?
All of the neighbors will be notified of the hearing, probably already have been, actually, because I believe the hearing is.
Yeah.
Are
They-
there any neighbors here tonight?
Yeah, we see that.
And they will require a stormwater management and grading permit application, Bob. So even though if they do get this relief, they are still going to have to go through the approvals with the township to make sure that there's no excessive runoff coming from their property to adjoiners.
I looked at the site drawings for this, and it looks like it's not, do you have a sense of the amount of encroachment from the setback that they're looking for relief from? It didn't look like it was a lot. It looked like a corner of the pool layout and the spa and all that.
It's, again, we haven't, I have not reviewed this for the stormwater management, but they are clearly over it. I would say it looks like it's more of the coping that would go around the pool or the concrete around it, John.
Right.
I would say if this is a 50-foot setback, it looks like they're probably encroaching about 10 feet into it. So, but again, it is a sizable setback for this zoning for this district. It's very large. And again, the issue that or the hardship that the property owner is stating is that because their lot goes back like that, that's where it pinches them to be able to do this.
And any neighbors that did have objections, it's 300 square feet radius of neighbors that get notified, and the neighbors have an opportunity to attend the zoning hearing and gain party status, and then they can submit their own evidence and give comments and speak in opposition.
Yeah.
No strong opinions here, so.
I don't have any strong feelings on that.
Okay, so neutral, then no motion is needed.
Okay. All right, zoning hearing board, 2 Mountain View Lane. The applicant's proposing to construct an 8-foot-high deer fence. The applicant is seeking zoning relief from the following zoning ordinances, section 370-128C, for a fence exceeding 6 feet in height.
Yeah, that one's pretty self-explanatory.
Yeah.
Yeah, they live in a wooded area and are trying to keep the deer out. And we only allow for 6 feet.
And this is up on the side of Valley Forge Mountain, I believe, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
If we can see from the,
Sorry.
as we can see from the police reports and what's been going on in the township, there's an issue with deer accidents and a lot of complaints, and the numbers are climbing each year. So is this it's not a stockade fence, it's something you can see through? Is that what I'm hearing, that it would be like a chain link or some type of? So I know there was a property on Valley Park years ago, many years back, that put up a higher fence, and visibility was a big deal. Neighbors were concerned that if it was going to be solid wood, that would impede their view, but if it was transparent, has that been brought up in the application?
I did not see anything where they mentioned what the material would be, but let me see.
It looks like the closest house is this one behind it. That one, other than that.
I know where
nothing.
this house is. There's just, it's basically a private lane, and it is a private lane. And there's only one house to the left of it.
Yeah.
That's what it looks like, right?
According to their Monco fence, which they included in this, they're talking about 572 feet of 8-foot-high black
I
post,
know it well.
top right to bottom wire. and a black welded wire. So I would assume this not to be a stockade or any kind of chain link. This is probably just a fence that is to a height so that deer can't hop over it and get into their yard and bother their children and their animals. So in reading this, I don't see any like visual impediment to it. You know, they're calling even black wire, which is like something that you would typically put in a stormwater management basin, so you just kind of look through it.
Okay.
Okay, the ordinance is 6 feet, and they are asking for 8 feet. Have we, excuse me?
10, I think.
Eight feet.
But, I mean, in terms of, has 8 feet been allowed in the township previously? In other words, is this going to set the bar for the next applicant?
Yeah.
Yeah, raise the bar.
Yeah.
Good one.
I don't have any concerns with this.
Yeah, I can't say that since I've been the township engineer, that I've had anybody come in here and ask for a relief for a fence height. But I don't think, based off of the explanation, the hardship that they're explaining here, I don't think that this is necessarily something, you know, that's not adverse to the township. I think that they're just trying to protect their yard, protect their children and their animals from the deer feces and you know, going and bothering their area.
So I know there's a couple of elderly couples up there. Is this a family with kids? And not that it matters, I'm just curious, because I know some of
Their application
them.
has said they're expecting their first child, and
Okay.
that's one of the reasons why they want it. But this is also a private road.
So if we gave the green light on this, Mike, does this set a precedent that folks can come in knowing that it's an isolated property and we've given or haven't fought it? I shouldn't say give, I don't want to say given the green
Yeah, no.
light, if we didn't oppose it.
So or better yet, if the zoning hearing board granted it,
Right.
the zoning hearing board has to take each case as it comes to it and review each one differently. So no.
Okay. And I'm not, or I should say, I have no strong opinion on this. Everybody agree? All right.
Okay, neutral.
So we don't need to make a motion there except to.
Nope. No motion
Excellent.
needed.
Okay, old business, discussion of township electricity procurement. Do you want me to read that before you go into your part, or you want to?
No, I can explain
All
it.
right, go ahead.
Yeah, no, that's fine. So at a prior meeting, we discussed trying to find solutions for the township's PICO bills. We had previously participated in a contract with Constellation Energy. That has since expired, so we're seeing variable rates causing additional expenses. So we've been looking into alternatives. We discussed some other alternatives at one of the last meetings. We went back and did some additional research, and we came across a CoStars program, and CoStars is it's a state-run program that allows the township to participate in contracts that have already been vetted, basically, which allows us to not have to follow formal bidding rules because the state has basically already done it for us. So we can participate there's a CoStars program run out of Penn State University. It's the Facilities Engineering Institute, and it's a CoStars approved program, so they basically would take all of the township's electric accounts and they bid them out, they bundle them all together with all of the other municipalities that participate with them, get us the best rates, and they enroll us and we do nothing. And then there are no variable rates, it's not subject to anything, so there's no contract that expires, and then we're stuck in variable rates, which happens a lot of times. It becomes a lot to manage. Doesn't happen for them. If they, the way that they explained it to us, if they don't feel like they've gotten favorable rates in the bid and they reject it, we just automatically go back to obtaining our electric from PICO directly, so we get whatever PICO's rates are at the time.
Excellent job. I think
So-
it's a great idea. Any
So,
thoughts?
yeah, one of the things I know we talked about before was the actual, who we're getting our electricity from, or how it's being generated, something
Yes.
that EEC has brought up a lot. Is there,
Yes.
do they provide any guardrails there, any insight into it? Can we say, yes, we strictly want hydro or nuclear, or provide a list of what we want to consider as part of that?
We can,
Okay.
yes, we can discuss that with them. After,
It's an add-on.
yes, that would be an
So it would be an
It
add-on,
would
cost
meaning they'd give
a
us
little bit more,
both. We'd
yes.
have to pay, but they'd give us option,
I
most
see.
competitive
Okay.
option and that option for.
Gotcha. Okay. Yeah, yeah, as long as that's an option for us, I'm for it, yeah.
Great.
Any other comments, discussion? Any comments from the public? All right, with that, I'll make a motion to authorize our township manager to enroll all township electricity accounts in the Penn State Facilities Engineering Institute's CoStars Electricity Procurement Program. Do I hear a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Excellent. New business, discussion of possible motion to approve historical, we already did that, so that was an easy one. I will make a motion to authorize advertisement of conditional use hearing for 1485 Valley Forge Road for Monday, February 9th, 2026 at 7 o'clock. Do I hear a second?
Second.
All right, comments, questions? Yes.
Microphone.
So the Historic Commission is going to the site on Wednesday to look at the historic properties there and their request for approval for demolition of the historic properties. Does that in any way affect what you're voting on right now?
Yeah, so to explain, they need conditional use approval from the board to do that. The board acts as the judge for that application. Among the reports that the board can consider is a report from the Historical Commission as to its assessment of whether it meets the criteria of the ordinance or does not.
So in essence, we can't weigh in or really say too much right now.
Okay.
All we're doing tonight, though, is setting the date for the hearing.
Yep.
Any other comments? All right, we have a motion, a second. All in favor? Aye. Okay. I will make a motion to approve Officer Robert Wilson's educational reimbursement request.
Second.
And discussion. Already want to talk on that, or do we just go for it?
So this is, one of our police officers is requesting to return back to school to finish a degree. It's something that is provided for in the collective bargaining agreement for the police department. So he has submitted his request to the board for consideration and approval. And
I personally think it's a great idea. We're happy to have all the officers take advantage of that. So we have a motion. We have a second. Any other comments, questions? Any from the public? All in favor? Aye. All right, I'll make a motion to approve proposal from Taser dated August 6th, 2025, in the amount not to exceed $17,000 for web-based asset management application. This is a budgeted item, includes a one-time setup cost. For your second.
Second.
Discussion. Questions? All in favor?
Aye.
I'll make a motion to approve the renewal of Cypress Landscape contract in the amount of $11,184.48 for the municipal complex landscape maintenance. This is also a budgeted item. Do I hear a second?
Second.
Any comments, questions from the board, from the public? All in favor? Aye. I'll make a motion to approve the 2026 Lexipol quote in the amount of $14,677.03 for renewal of the TRG State Accreditation Management Service, also a budgeted item.
Second.
Any comments, questions? Public? All in favor? Aye. Okay. Discussion of elected auditor vacancies. Lori, I'll punt this to you.
so we currently have one elected auditor of the 3 required by second-class township code. We appoint a CPA, so we have Barbicane that does our actual audit. So here in our township, the actual duties and responsibilities of our elected auditors is nearly nothing. Per the second-class township code, their only duty would be to set the compensation for any supervisors who are also employees of the township. We don't do that here. So they don't really have any duties, so this is not like a nobody's hair's on fire without having elected auditors. And basically what happened is there was a mistake made on the ballots this year. One of our currently seated elected auditors got written in again, so he got put into 2 terms. And then the other person who also got written in declined. So we have 1 and we have 2 vacancies. So once we get the formal written confirmation from the county of those 2 vacancies, the board should consider appointing people to those roles so that we can do our formal minutes approval of the last 2 years of minutes for the elected auditors and have them reorganized. Again, it's not really a huge deal. It's just something that we are required to do.
So we'll have action steps after we hear back from the county of doing what we
Yeah,
need to do.
we can advertise the vacancies, and then you can appoint anybody who's
Okay,
interested in
So this-
coming to a meeting once a year.
so this is more of an FYI, there's no
Yeah.
motion or vote needed?
No, I
Okay.
don't need any action right now, I just wanted to bring it to your attention.
All right.
And maybe let the public know that there will be vacancies, so if anybody wants to volunteer.
All right, that's it for that section. Additional business discussion on agenda items.
Before we get to
Uh-oh,
that, you want to make
what
a
did I miss?
motion to amend
Oh, yes, I will make a motion to amend
the agenda
the agenda.
to add
Go ahead, to add
an authorization to advertise
authorization to advertise
the January 22nd workshop.
January
as a voting
22nd
meeting.
workshop as a voting meeting.
Second.
All right,
And
discussion.
then- Oh, sorry, go ahead.
All in favor?
Aye.
What else did I miss?
Can you combine those two? Or should he make a second motion now
He
to
should make
actually?
Make a second motion now,
To
because
actually
now
do it.
we've amended the agenda, so just make a second motion now to approve that motion.
All right, I will, give me the wording for that.
Motion to,
Danielle, you're the motion master.
Oh, wait, so what, okay, what am I making the motion?
motion to advertise the January 22nd workshop as a voting meeting.
I thought we just
Oh.
did that.
No,
No,
we
we
made a motion to amend
amended
the
the agenda
agenda.
to add it.
All right.
I move that we advertise the January 22nd workshop meeting as an official business meeting of the Board of Supervisors.
Second.
Which allows for voting. Yeah. All right, all in favor? Aye.
Perfect.
Okay,
Thank you.
all right. Additional business discussion of agenda items for upcoming workshops. We've had a couple that came across tonight. But I'll open it up to you
Really
guys
quick,
first.
adding fence heights to the overall ordinance discussion, if we could put that in a bullet somewhere, because I know we've had the ordinance, general ordinance overhaul on our list for a while now.
Adding fence height?
Adding, yeah, adding that is just another point to talk about for the ordinance would be good.
Yeah, because, I mean, this is, I know a lot of HOAs control fence height to 6 feet, but there's plenty of places in our township that don't. And since 6-foot fences are ineffective against deer, I can imagine that you may get more and more requests, so. I don't personally have an issue with a fence that's over 6 feet, but we should probably
Get ahead of it.
get ahead of it. I mean, it's
I
not,
think
that's
it-
not
I
a
think it
pressing,
can-
that's not a pressing issue at some point this year.
Yeah, I think the issue there is like, does it impact the neighbor? Like if it's an 8 foot is probably as high as these,
Blinds.
drapes, blinds. It's pretty high.
Yeah, it'll deter deer, but I've watched them jump higher than that. So it's probably not a bad idea, but it can help, especially if there's kids involved. But they can go a good bit higher than that. I know from the Texas properties and all the other things I've seen around this township. So we've got that one on there.
Again, I'm not pressed, right? I'm saying it's not pressing, but I'm, don't.
It would be part of the broader discussion on the ordinances. It's one bullet point of everything.
And I think we can do a better job communicating and planning. We did some good planning. John showed a snapshot last year of what the 5-year could look like, which is a good starting point. I think we need to do a little more work on that to see how we can get the word out to the people well in advance of any meetings or any decisions that involve large expenses or any projects, anything going on. I think we need to do a better job there. So I'd like to put that on as something to dig deeper into in a workshop.
Communications generally, like
Communications planning, just maybe even try to over-communicate, to go above and beyond, to say we want everybody to know and let's use every avenue possible in the future, not just website, not just meetings, but possibly, maybe live stream, things like that need to be discussed. I think using the newsletter to talk more about projects that are coming, especially anything that has to do with a cost to the taxpayers, in addition to our normal operating cost. If there's anything that's going to have another potential tax increase, I think it's important to get it out there early and talk about it a long time in advance.
Are you thinking of this in concert, because sometimes communications require additional staff people? I mean, we have limited staff people. Are you thinking, and we did take that out of our budget for this year, the intern that we were contemplating for communications because of budget concerns? Are you thinking of this conversation being part of an overall budget conversation?
It could, I don't know. I think we put it on there and discuss it, see what it entails, how much time it'll take, and if there's a cost. But I think we have to look at all that.
I think it's at some point sooner than later. Oh, I'm sorry. I think at some point sooner or later, we have to come to some sort of resolution of the municipal complex. And especially since Melissa Schusterman, our representative, was able to secure a grant for us, we have to, we have to make a decision as what we're going to do going forward with that project. So I would say that's kind of a timely workshop meeting topic, one way or another. Either kill it, keep going forward, but we need some direction.
I would like an understanding of, is there a high-level needs assessment that was, like, is there a summary of the needs that were identified with the complex? I know we had the tour, and I know, Lori, I saw certainly, some of the conditions for the police or the roads people and things like that, but is there some sort of summary of it? Okay.
Yeah, we did, the township completed a feasibility study with an architect. That was completed, I think, 2 years ago. I can get you a copy of that.
Yeah, and I guess it's like, what were the needs and then what's being asked for? Like, what's that whole picture look like? I would need, I guess I'll make it my own, point to educate myself on where we are with that. But I think that the municipal complex project ties into multi-year planning, in my view, in terms of priorities. We had a tax increase for fire and EMS.
We want to be careful that we're not adding a discussion on the agenda that we didn't advertise. We're just talking about what the topics are. I just want to be.
Gotcha. Okay. I guess, so I think it's fine, within the whole sort of umbrella of looking multi-year out as to what we need. Okay, sure.
That may be a good reason to, when we look at the priorities of what we do next, I think the planning and communications would be a good idea to do a better job with the people that are asking questions about that. I've heard a lot of rumors, a lot of things going around, and we can get a certain amount of clarity. We've had a lot of workshop meetings where that was discussed, but we haven't really had as much discussion about the funding mechanisms and the cost impact, tax impact, that kind of thing to the public. So I'd like to have that before we get into the municipal complex. So it might be good to do the communication topic first and planning, and then right after that talk about what to do with the municipal complex.
Remember, we could have a topic of a municipal complex at a workshop. That doesn't mean we're voting on it. It could be a workshop that's a working meeting for the board to simply go over things like what John was saying, what with the needs assessment, what's the scope of the project. Doesn't have to be a definitive deciding meeting, but I think we need to have that conversation earlier rather than later, just because we have architects who are engaged in this project and they're in limbo.
I think that I'd like to get these two guys really up to speed and give them time to understand it, wrap your mind around it, how much has gone into it, what the needs assessment is. And
Yeah, I mean, I think the question is like, what is the best venue for that? Like, to Danielle's point, if a workshop would be, like, it can be part of the overall education process, right? Like, I mean, I guess it's on John and I to get up to speed a little bit. To get input from all of us, do we need that to be a workshop? I'm guessing yes, because we can't talk.
You can't talk about it without it being public.
So.
And the architects can come and give a total overview. In fact, that's what they are prepared to do at this point, is to give an overview of the project, where we started to where we are now. We have been in a holding pattern on the project. They're at about 95% completion on the construction documents, and they've been holding on that. So we do need to get that in front of the board so that there is direction given to the architects as to where we're going at this point.
Yeah, I would have an issue with like green lighting that project, because I'm assuming it's significant money. Like I'm assuming it's a large amount. I've heard nothing about it. I haven't attended, workshop meetings in the past. But until we have like an agreement on, whether it's 3 or 5 years, like, okay, we're going to understand what is coming around the corner, or at least attempt to anticipate that. And that would be done in collaboration with, you know, our large services, police, fire, EMS, like to get a grip on that before being asked to vote on or approve, you know, multi-million-dollar project. Like
Well, there's no, just to be clear, I'm not, the project hasn't even gone to bid yet. So this is just simply
I know,
the board.
but I'm assuming if you're 95% with an architect, that there's a scope
Yeah,
or
because the-
design already
Yes.
dealt with. I haven't seen it, so.
And that's what we can do.
at the workshop.
Right.
You'd
Well-
see that
Right.
and discuss it.
Yeah, no, I'm fine with that. It's,
One of the concerns I have, and I don't want to dive deep into this now, we can talk about it at the workshop session, is that the majority of the workshop sessions are just us, maybe one or two people occasionally. This might be a topic, if they're going to come in front of the board, that we actually do at a regular board meeting and try to get the public out more to see what's happening. And
I don't think that makes a difference. The agenda is the agenda. People aren't showing up because it's a workshop and not a business meeting. They're showing
Well-
up because the thing that they care about isn't on the agenda, whether you label it a workshop or business.
again, that comes out to communication on the front end, I think.
Yeah,
A
no,
lot of folks
that
don't know what's
I
happening,
agree
so.
with, but I think workshop versus business isn't gonna make any functional difference on who shows up.
Well, one of the things that is different is that it can be looked at later. It's on film. So people can go back and say, what was that about? I couldn't make it. A lot of people don't want to come out, but if it's something they can go online and look at, watch, maybe they can pick up something from that. But I don't have any major bias either way. I want to make sure everybody's educated. You know, I think we need to really think about this. Well, like you said, we just had a tax increase. We haven't really talked about how this would be funded. And I think that's something we need to get in front of and communicate to the people well in advance. Because if it does relate to another 1 mil tax increase, I wouldn't want to bring that at a budget meeting and say, here it is, we had meetings, we're putting it through. I'd really want to get well in front of that. Like we did with the planning, I think we could do a better job communicating what the funding would look like and where it comes from.
Do we have any, Lori, do we have anything set for the budget workshop? I'm sorry, the workshop next week. Do you have anything that's already been put on the agenda for that, or that you think is a priority for that?
That's typically our project meeting, but we can, no, I mean, part of the discussion tonight is to determine what we want to do first.
So this is because of the way that the meeting laid out this month with the reorg, and now we only have 1 week before the budget, the next workshop. Would you have enough time, would you and Valentina have enough time to provide educational materials to the supervisors in advance of a workshop next week that would give the scope, that would give like the funding mechanisms, that would give the impetus of the project, that would, so that the next week, if we did decide to discuss the municipal complex, it would be informative for the board members? Do you have enough time to do that, or is this something that we should save for the February workshop?
I can definitely have enough information on the scope and have the architects come to present that. I can give general information on potential funding sources, but I wouldn't have a full funding plan presented. However, part of that would also be because we don't really know how much it's going to cost yet. We have estimates that we've used, high estimate numbers to go out and apply for grant funding. And we have a general idea of what it's likely to cost based on the architect's cost estimates that they put together based on square footage and those types of things. I would not have we could talk about options for funding, but I wouldn't have a full finance plan put together yet.
What about, are we incurring costs in our retainer of the architect? So if this decision, if we decided to discuss this on our February business meeting, workshop, I'm sorry, I'm tired. If we decided to talk about this in February, are we incurring like a retainer cost for the architects where each week of indecision costs us money? Are they?
No.
No, okay. So we're not, like, if we gave direction to the architects in February versus next week, the township is not incurring costs?
Not unless they're actively working on it.
Okay. So we can wait until February to discuss it and make sure that you have enough time to prepare for that meeting, and make
I'm
sure
leaning
that,
towards that.
and make sure that,
Yeah.
well, us too, I mean, it's,
Yeah.
this, we've been working on this forever, but, you know, we all can look at these materials again. I would be in agreement to have that as a February topic then, and maybe we hit communication. What else can we put in January? Because I know communications, we could talk about that, but it seems like not a whole
Planning.
business.
Multi-year planning,
I think that-
like the framework of how we do business as a township.
I think they go
So
together
that,
well.
you know, like, in my view, like, the multi-year planning helps us avoid surprises
Okay.
whenever possible with what we can control. So and so a framework for planning that isn't just 1 year off, I think helps with transparency, helps with, I think, promoting, a good relationship with our residents,
Yeah,
et
you don't
cetera.
have to sell us on
So
it.
planning and communication,
Oh, there you go.
I think setting that, like that, how we're gonna do that, I think that is a discussion.
I think that could be a full meeting if we really
Exactly.
look at every potential path we could take to better communicate and plan. So I think that might be a good one for next week.
What's the preparation as, though? Like, Lori and staff aren't gonna be able to come with anything unless the idea here is that we as board members are gonna look at things and we're proposing something completely from scratch. Like,
We
could
just want to make
start-
sure it's a productive meeting, that's all.
Yeah, like I'm struggling to think of if we showed up next week, what concretely, what are we gonna talk about? Like, yeah, I'm all for it, don't get me wrong, I definitely wanna do this, but like, what are we gonna spend an hour talking about?
Maybe we could like subdivide components of it for who would look at, I'm just shooting from the hip here.
I think, I don't think it's, it needs to be super complicated, and I think it's something that we could create ourselves. Like, I don't know if there's a template from another municipality. I've talked to some other people at municipalities, and I don't know that it's the standard, but I think it should be. I mean, someone mentioned a homeowners association. They do multi-year planning for, large capital stuff and whatever the needs are. So I think a township should be kind of simple, and I think it should align with the consensus of priorities that we agree to,
right.
whether it's roads, police, fire, municipal complex. Like, we need, like, the planning should look at those areas and then just kind of have a framework in place. And it's going to require a little more work and thought, I guess, looking out, and some of it will be based on assumptions, but at least it gives a little bit more of a roadmap. And I think, and again, predictability, defensibility for any decisions we make around, particularly around, taxpayer dollars. That's how I feel.
I'm all for this, but I just, I'm not optimistic that we're gonna come up. So as long as the understanding is we're not gonna come up with a 5-year budget in one workshop meeting, right? So I wouldn't want us to have this workshop meeting next week, not come up with a 5-year budget, and then say, okay, now we can't have this discussion about scope of the municipal complex because we haven't solved that problem.
But at some point, we do have to create framework that shows all the different things that we can do.
100%,
And this
I'm not
could be more
disagreeing
of
with
a
you.
framework meeting to
Yeah.
say, these are priorities. We have to get a 5-year
Yeah.
plan. We need to, I like the
100%.
idea of having that plan be on, for example, our monthly newsletter, or quarterly newsletter. Is it quarterly now that we're normally trying to get it out?
Twice a year.
Twice a year. I'd love to see them, I know you don't have much to put in there, but I'd love to see that go out more often. But I'd like to see that plan incorporated with.
We don't control that, we
with-
can't send it out more often.
All right, well,
We don't pay for it, it's free for us to use.
so if we did want to go out more often, it would have to be paid for, in other words. So that's something to consider also. But I like the idea of creating that plan, putting a serious focus on it, and have that be included in every newsletter, maybe on the back letter. Maybe have these meetings, what do they call it, a live feed? Live stream, I always say live feed. Live stream meetings to get more people that want to join that may not want to come out, but that can watch it from their home. There's a lot of topics like that I think that could be thrown in there. And maybe the workshop meetings need to start having, I know it's another expense, but if we record and post them, I think that's a good idea, because a lot of things happen that, granted, we do our best, the best we can with these meetings to talk about everything in the open, but folks just don't come out. So how can we get into their home better to let them know what's going on, because I know every newsletter that comes in to me, I sit and read through it. They're really well done, by the way, and go over everything, and I hear a lot of comments from friends, neighbors, family members who live in the township. That gets through.
Yeah, so this is something, again, we can discuss at this communication workshop. Are we having the communication workshop and the budget workshop combined?
Planning, yes.
Planning,
I
Yes.
just want to make sure that I'm clear on, so this is going to be next week.
yeah.
Are we talking about specific projects for this, or were we just talking generally?
When you say specific projects.
I'm just, what should I be prepared
So,
for?
I would say any
portion of this?
projects that are in action, for example, the sidewalk project, that's one of the things we can put on when it comes to finances. Here are our projects in motion, here are our pending projects in priority. That we have some firehouse things that are serious issues with, no locker rooms and, floors caving in and structures rotting out. All those things I think could be on there. And then we may even include on this that, twice a year we have a town hall meeting about the projects. Get the people more educated of what's coming and what they can expect to pay for these, and get more pulse from the people about what they want.
Yeah, so I see this as like more of we're creating something that isn't in place now, or we're discussing the creation of something. And so I don't know that it necessitates like a whole lot of preliminary work or advanced work from Lori necessarily. It's more, how do we envision a planning framework that not only we could find beneficial and the people we serve, but something that is sustainable over towards the future. And maybe it gets tweaked and adjusted, but at least something that can be put in place that's not, overdone, but is useful, again, so that, just from my perspective, understanding the needs of the fire company, their building, the next $1 million truck that they need, or engine, just so that that's not like done on a year-to-year basis. Because I found personally the budget, like I know there's a tremendous amount of work that goes into it, but it's just so compressed. It's like a very compressed process that at least that was my take last fall. And I think like a little more advanced, like more longer range planning will give you a chance to say, okay, we're looking at X millions for the municipal complex, but what about X millions for these other services that are critical services for the township, and not just, pull the tax increase lever. Like let's look at the whole thing.
So it sounds like a brainstorming like this is gonna be a brainstorming session, not something that we're gonna have, which is, I'm not saying that that's bad. I'm not saying that's bad. I'm just saying, so there's not something that concrete that, you're not asking Lori for this meeting next week to come.
No,
Lori,
no.
could you please look at a sample representative of townships and see how they do long-term budgeting? You're not asking her to do that.
No, I think this is a
Okay.
framework meeting. You've had your finger on the button.
Yeah, what I was going to
Okay.
say is I think is part, we obviously have business in front of us that we're working through, so maybe it's, I don't know what the number would be, but, these are the 20, what we think might be hot topic issues, things that are ongoing right now, things that we'll be working through, and then we can kind of talk to prioritize those amongst us, so that, because I love the idea of having a 3 or a 5-year plan, but we've also got ongoing business, so allowing the 5 of us to communicate, voice our opinions on, hey, this should be 1, this should be 2, this should be 3, I think that'll inform that 3 and 5-year plan. So to me, that would be helpful. That's my thought, maybe use it as some foundational work on the existing things that we'll be looking at over the next 12 months.
So what I'd love to come out of, what I would like to see come out of a meeting, say next week for communication and planning, would be some framework by the end of the meeting to say, hey, we like these, we can't vote on them, but this is framework going forward that we can all digest, kick around. That then might entail some action steps to say, are there other townships that have this, and what do they look like? Can we pirate from them and steal what they've already done and learn from them? And if not, maybe we've got to create some structure going forward. But I think coming out of next week, I'd love to see framework of what we can't vote on, but that we all think would be a good idea.
That's fine with me. So next week is this framework planning workshop with maybe communication if we have time to talk about communication. And then February is municipal complex, Lori. But that doesn't stop Lori from sharing the information that you guys need to digest about the history of the municipal complex and what, needs to be done
Absolutely.
in advance so that you have more time to look at that, right? Okay?
And I think we want to bring in the architects for the February one, right?
Yes, we need
Okay.
to bring the architects in. But again, after you've had a lot of time to they'll give you enough time to digest all the information.
We had a topic, somebody wanted to talk about deer management, so we've got that on our list. I've started to do a little homework on that to research who's standing and who's reputable in the area for deer management. From my understanding, it's not something where they would work directly from the township, but we can bring them in for public discussion, maybe multiple groups throughout the year, to interview, see what townships they work with, how well they work with the police force, the fire, the reputation they have in the area. And there's one that it is really rising to the top, and I can look for a second and third to maybe set up for a meeting maybe in, I don't know, March or April.
So you're gonna approach them to come in and do a
Yeah,
presentation
I like
for
presentation.
us?
That's how it
Okay.
happened. I'm going back 30 years ago when I was involved, but I was involved in a group, and they brought multiple groups in, interviewed them, and again, we didn't work directly with them, but the police chief and everybody looked at them and said, hey, let's check the references with other townships. And we picked one that we said, we like you guys, and if you want to talk to our police and go out and do some work, but it's directly between the deer management folks and the property owners, with liability waivers of whatever they do. But I like to see what criteria they live to and look at their insurance, how they test people, what safety. I'd like to know as much as I can about each one and then check references. So I've got one. I'm working on a second and a third now, so maybe we can set that up for March.
But that's a business meeting topic, right?
You can make it a business meeting topic, or they can come in front of the workshop.
I think we could
You
workshop
present
it
at the
first. We
workshop.
have the request, yeah, we have the request from a resident who wanted to come in and talk about that. We haven't received her materials yet, but.
And matter of fact, I think she found the same group on the main line that's doing a lot of work now.
It could be a workshop topic first, and then that would help to guide what you want to appear on a business agenda, if anything.
At some point, so I was really happy to see that we got the funding for the planning for Sedgley. That was great. Again, Representative Schuster came through for us. And we do need to make a decision at some point about who's going to do that work for us. I mean, Simone Collins has done a great job, but they're not the only group out there. And the past board has expressed some interest in at least maybe at a workshop having a couple folks present, similar to what we did with the architects for the municipal complex. That could be a workshop topic.
And that may be one we actually look at sooner than the deer management. Deer management's important, but that can be done later.
Yeah,
I'd probably put Sedgley
yes, I agree
up
with you.
sooner.
Let me talk to, because if you remember, so we got the 60,000, that's only half of the total grant award. We were, once we got that award, going to then apply for a second grant. So we would want to do the and a lot of times the grants will require that we go through that process in order to select an architect or a landscape architect. It would probably be too early to do that now until we get that other funding, because we're still a ways away from being able to embark on the actual master plan.
Okay.
So we will want to do that, but we're not in any huge time rush with that, because
All right.
that 60,000 doesn't get us there.
Okay.
So one of the things I do want to talk about regarding Sedgley, and I don't know if this is the time to talk about it or at another meeting or on the agenda for next month, is getting an appraisal on the 10 acres, getting a cost to tear a house down, getting a cost for renovation of that project. Because again, if we're going to do planning, we need to be able to put that out to the people and say, this is a historical site, here's what it's going to cost to renovate, because we've been getting out in front of the folks saying, what do you want to do with it? But I think they need to have some ammunition of what the costs will be. If that 10-acre piece can be sold for X and put back in the open space coffers, that's important for people to know. Or if it can be renovated by the township and used for a purpose, that's important to know, because there's limited funding. And if we did want to do that, that's going to incur possibly another tax increase or finding money from somewhere. So I think we should talk about what is historic, what the historical recommendation would be as far as saving 1, 2, or all 3. I don't think the third house needs to be saved, but that's, I think we'd look to you guys for that. But what would the cost be to renovate? What's it worth if we were to sell it? And also, what's the carrying cost? right now, we're incurring costs for that property. And I think we need to look at these things so we can, again, put those into the plans and educate the people more.
I don't disagree with you, but I'm just wondering, is that our role, or is that the role of the committee that's set up to do the park planning? Because we talked
Well-
about, we've talked about the planning process and how we're gonna have a committee and various subcommittees, and I just want to make sure that we're,
All of those concerns get addressed in the master planning process.
They could, and I'm not opposed
No,
to
they
that.
will. Like, it's
I
not
mean,
even they could, they will be.
I get they will be. And I don't know if there's a big cost to get an appraisal on it. But I'm sure they're going to want to know that too. Do we get ahead of that and say, hey, we've done this, or do we wait till the master plan? I'm fine either way. I just think it's an important piece that I'm looking at with the open space mission, that if we've got a big asset sitting there that's costing us and it may be getting devalued, do we get in front of that now? Or do we wait for master plan knowing that, there's downsides to this?
We're verging into conversational territory, so
yeah,
I'll hold my
we're
comment.
verging on substantive conversation,
Yeah.
the whole
All right,
the
well,
whole workshop topic discussion.
All right.
Yeah.
I get it.
I-
So I guess we punt that back until we have, go out for bid and bring people in and be
Or we could- I
part of a
mean,
master plan.
It sounds like maybe what you want to do is maybe have a discussion on, like, the meeting before the meeting, but the planning before the planning. And we have kind of talked about it here and there. Because what you're saying is, and what I just said is we're still a ways out from the actual master plan, which means the property will be sitting there. What do we do with it in the meantime? Is that kind of what?
Yeah, it concerns me that we have a carrying cost. We have a building that, it's not demolition, or it's not, what do they call it, demolition by neglect. We've made sure that it's stable, right? It's
Mhm, yeah.
stabilized, but,
Yep, it's checked on, yeah, and we're not, I don't know the actual figures, but we're really not spending much on that. We pay a $15 electric bill every month on the house. We're really not spending that much.
It's the electrical line repairs that are really eating into the cost.
Yeah, but that's
really the
not
big thing.
something,
down trees and electrical lines.
That's-
are-
Yeah, and that's was a one-off thing. It's not a reoccurring.
We hope.
Well, yeah, like, well,
Yeah.
yeah, correct,
Yeah.
yeah.
define reoccurring.
And that's not really related to, well,
So,
that's it.
so what does the board feel? Is there
Yeah.
anything we should do on this, or should we punt back to a master plan, or? when we
I
have a
think it's
plan?
worth having a workshop topic to talk about this. I mean, we've already set next week, but having some of this information before us too, like what have we paid on it so far? I'm not necessarily opposed to doing an appraisal beforehand as well. I'm having that as another data point to talk about during that conversation. I think it's worth talking about.
For March? So now we're in March? Or does Deere come
I-
before? Does Deere management come in March and this come in April?
I think it would be, if we decided on an appraisal, I think that's gonna be the thing that's gonna dictate timeline, depending on how long it takes them to turn that around.
Yeah, I would agree.
I agree, John.
So this is, planning and communications in January, municipal complex in February, discussion on Sedgley in March, we can refine that, right?
Yeah.
And Deere in April? Is Deere enough for a whole topic, for a whole workshop?
If we're having
Combine the two.
I mean, are we also, I assume we're able to, are we setting this for, we
No,
can modify it?
no, but we have to give Lori some general
Yeah,
direction.
Yeah,
no, I-
Deere actually is, because you're probably going to have multiple, unless we want to break groups up and have them come in different meetings, so they don't, but I don't have a problem with 3 presentations in one meeting either, and that's going to take up a full, that's going to take up a full meeting, if we can get 3 people. I know there's,
We can always double up the evening too, like, it doesn't have to be one topic. Like, if there's
Yeah,
something else
well,
small
as it
that,
gets
smaller,
closer.
that, exactly, yeah.
Yeah.
If there's something else small that comes up that we want to tack on at the end of the meeting, we can always do that too.
The other topic that, and I guess we could talk about this in planning next week, because we're going to be talking about big ticket items, is my favorite project, which is sidewalks. So I know that unfortunately, we didn't get the grant that we were hoping for, and that's something that we're definitely going to have to figure out how to pay for. But that, we could kind of tackle that in sidewalks. Is that, Lori, something that you'd be able to discuss for planning, in the planning discussion?
Yeah.
Okay. Have we given you enough topics? Have we filled up enough months? You're all the way through April.
We've got 4 laid out. Is there anything else that you think of, that you can think of that we've had on the old list that we didn't cover?
I think that's good for
All right.
now.
We got a quarter of the year covered.
Ordinance review.
We can always revisit.
We'll eventually get back to the plastic bag ban.
All right. Then if that's it, I'm going to carry on and see if we can get home.
I did just realize 2-minute reports
Oh.
seem to have fallen off.
Yeah,
somehow.
we lost the 2-minute report, so I'm
So
going to
I
try to
think we
do
can
that.
continue that under additional business.
Okay. Announcements.
We can
Oh,
stick
do it now?
with- yeah,
Okay.
stick
For
to-
additional business, so we'll do the 2-minute reports. I don't think you have anything to report yet, John, because they haven't had a meeting that you're covering.
I have a great start with my relationship with the Historical Commission team, so they're off and running.
Excellent.
Thank you.
All right. JC.
Nothing for me. It's gonna take a while.
I have nothing for administrative liaison, I have nothing for administrative liaison other than our administration's great. I have nothing for school board liaison because I have not met with them yet. And police liaison because I have not met with them yet. And I bequeathed PRPC to Devin.
Neither Planning Commission nor PRPC have had their meetings, so we haven't met yet, so nothing on my side.
Okay. And as always, the Valley Forge Fire Company's kicking butt, doing a great job. I read through your report. Looked like an exciting month with a lot of activity, so great job. Appreciate you keeping us all safe. Hope to get together with Danielle and set up a time to meet with the chief, so we'll have more to report on there. But the open space has some really exciting news coming, which I can't talk about, but we will soon, hopefully. So with that, Lori?
Yeah, so I have a couple of grant announcements to cover that we were awarded at the end of 2025. Some of this has been out on the website and on social media already, but the township did receive over $17,000 back for its 904 recycling grant, which is great. We were awarded $350,000 in LSA funding from the Commonwealth for our municipal complex project, so that was very exciting at the end of 2025. We also got, as Danielle mentioned, $60,000 from the DCNR Greenways program for planning for Sedgley. And just today, an hour before I came into this meeting, I was notified that we got $500,000 from DCNR towards the acquisition of Sedgley Farms retroactively. So that's a total of $1 million that we've gotten.
Excellent.
Oh,
And
big news,
and we're
Lori.
still
Yeah.
waiting for one more big pot of money possibly to come through for a grant, right?
That's not opened yet for us to apply. That's the federal round. We've not been selected to apply
Okay.
for that funding yet. So this is the,
So there
we've
may-
been awarded 500 from the county. We now today got awarded 500 from the state. And
Is-
if the federal money pot opens, we will apply.
And that's the, what do they call that, the Highlands Act, or I forget the name for it,
Yes.
Highlands Act or whatever, which, that's a bigger pot of money, which may be more, we hope, than the other two combined, so waiting to see on that.
Yeah.
So,
Great news.
good news.
Yeah, so that was-
Excellent.
That was exciting.
All right, Chief.
I'll start off as I always do. Sorry I didn't get the electronic version out of the monthly report to you, but I got printed ones so you can take a look at it if you have any questions. We wrapped up the coat drive. Officer Hennessy did a great job with that. The food also, now we just have to get it out of the end of the hallway here and to where it needs to get to. To double with the Historical Commission, I did some research. The badges that we wear, the companies that manufacture them are doing special ones for the 250th. And I did a informal survey with the officers if they'd be willing to use their individual uniform accounts to purchase them and wear them for the year. And 10 of the 12 officers have agreed to use their uniform allowance, part of their uniform allowance to buy the badges. So it kind of figures, I can get renderings to you so you can see them, but it basically has George Washington in the center and has the 250th on it and everything. And I thought that would be an appropriate
Great.
use of the uniform allowance money for this year.
Excellent. So quick question for you. I noticed the traffic accidents were way up year-to-date compared to last year. I'm guessing that was because of the snowstorm that came through?
Weather's been somewhat of a factor, but not enough to justify that number.
Some of those more
Vol-
deer-related?
Volume,
or-
I think, is as much as anything.
Okay,
I mean, we are a pass-through township. Everybody drives through us to get from where they live to where they're going to. No,
Okay.
nothing stands out to me as far as like a direct causative reason why that would be. We've had some more bridge strikes, but nothing that's significant in terms of numbers.
okay.
Yeah, as you can see, the traffic enforcement, I mean, we've been pretty consistent with vehicle stops, a whole
Right.
lot more than we did when I first came here. And that's pretty much what the police can do in terms of trying to reduce accidents.
Are there any other ideas how we can reduce accidents? I know we can't do much about Paulings Bridge.
No, not really. I mean, you really can't change the configuration of the roadways. They are what they are. We just have to do our best to slow people down or make people more aware. We get a significant amount of rear-end collisions on 23, and it's either inattentiveness or traffic lights or you name it. But that's a significant number of them.
Okay,
All right?
great. Thanks, Chief.
Thank you.
Paul?
Yes, thank you. So we have a handful of stormwater management grading permit applications in that are going through review. We also have a sketch plan review, a waiver of land development that will be discussed at the January Planning Commission meeting. And tomorrow, we have a meeting to talk about the Route 23 sidewalk plan. We have requested an extension of the HOP permit, and we're hopeful to try to map out the best ways to communicate to the property owners who we have not been able to get the signature sign-offs for at this point.
So I don't know if this is time to ask, I saw some heavy equipment working again on the Wawa site. Is that,
Yes, that is correct. They're going to, they've been working on the off-site improvements, as well as they have been going internal. I think it was last Thursday or Friday, I saw them with the large tanks. So they were installing the tanks for the gas pumps. And I did talk to Kim, they did get the permits for that. Again, that's more of the, excuse me, the bricks and sticks of what's going on the community. But the land development has been going well, and the Chester County Conservation District has been out and has produced multiple inspection reports where there have been no violations for Wawa.
great. All right, did I miss anybody? Valley Forge Fire.
I'm just curious, Paul, do we have a tally of how many property owners have not, that we're still trying to tick down for the sidewalk project?
We do have a tally. I want to say it's like 3 or 4. Valentina, do you know?
That's what we're looking at. Same as before, but I can get the numbers for the work.
Yeah, we're below 5, and some of the people who had come to the meetings and had asked for individual meetings with TNM, we had them, and I believe all of them have signed at this point. It's just really the people who we've been reaching out to who are just not communicating back.
Any other questions for Paul? All right, anything to report? All right. I think that's it, right? Public comment, anybody? Yeah.
Last year, I had brought up the thought of changing the sign for the Schuylkill Township building so that you could advertise events and meetings and everything like that. And I believe your workshop is about communication.
That's on there.
Can we put? Yeah, okay.
Absolutely.
All right, good.
Yep. I've got a list of things I started to jot down, and that's one of them. So thanks. Any other public comment? All right. Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
My name's John Riley. I belong to her. And I want to thank you for bringing up the deer issue, because that was one of the things that I wanted to bring up. I know there was, way back years ago, there was a deer committee, and I've noticed in the last couple of years the deer have gotten way out of hand. One night going from the church to our house on Country Club Road, I counted easily without veering my vision off the road very far. 19 deer between here and that's, what, a mile away, 2 miles away. So I know there's a big problem, and I'm glad you're addressing that. And the second thing is, I know you're looking to shop for electricity. I did that for 7 or 8 years, so if you have any questions about shopping for electricity, I'd be glad to lend my expertise.
Just a little bit of history on the deer. That was my very first level of involvement with the township back in the 90s. A group came in, and I ended up managing that group for 10 years until I got involved in open space and then had to drop out.
I didn't think you were that old.
Yeah, I used to. But that group used to take, some years, over 100 deer a year out of the township. Back then, the park didn't cull the herds. There was just a chronic flow. Well, that changed, but now they're starting to come back, so. All right, with that.
Bob,
Yeah.
I apologize. I probably didn't time this correctly. I had one item. I'd love to go volunteer and clean up Route 23 with litter. And I think I asked John.
EAC does this.
Okay,
Yeah.
is there any way to activate that? Just because there's a lot of it, and I'd love to get out there.
EAC.
Okay,
Yeah.
so that's how that's done.
Come join me. Yeah, they're in 2 weeks. I believe they're in 2 weeks. Yeah, if you're, more than welcome to come pitch it to the meeting.
Okay.
Yeah.
Awesome. All right, any other comments? With that, make a motion to adjourn.
Second.
All in favor?
Second.
Need some ayes. Aye. All right. We're opposed out. Thank you all.